like to thank the Stevens, Mr. and Mrs. Stevens. Thank you so much for having us here. This is an awesome spot. I can't think of a better weekend, better place, better weather to spend the Bretts. Thank you all so much for inviting every single one of us to join in with you all on this weekend to celebrate Charlie and Libby. So for a lot of y'all that know me personally, you may know that I've had a little bit of a tough time with some personal issues the past couple years, and I just wanted to kind of clear that up. So actually senior year in college, my Suburban broke down and I had to walk from Lubbock to Fort Worth, so I'm just getting in. Not a lot, there's not a ton of appropriate stories. I think that is a big reason why Charlie asked my dad to officiate the wedding as opposed to longtime family pastor Ted Kitchens, someone like that. Charlie was trying to steer clear of somebody like that catching wind of what we've been up to in Lubbock. You know, the shenanigans that Charlie and I and James and everyone in Lubbock that we were close with, it was the most fun years of my life being in Lubbock and spending it with Charlie. This is a guy who we had a roommate that we weren't so fond of sophomore year. We had a girlfriend that we were even less fond of. And one night I remember she was home for some reason, and her boyfriend, our roommate, was not. He wasn't home. And she was talking, and she asked Charlie for some Tylenol. You know, she said, she was drunk. She said, my head hurts. I need some Tylenol. He says, yeah, sure, I'll be right back. Charlie comes back with a handful of sleeping pills. Speeding ticket going 85 and 65 because he was listening to Jerry Jeff Walker too much. Charlie and I, we have been kind of getting ourselves into trouble with pranks and stuff like that since we were in high school. We, like a lot of people have said, Charlie was kind of savvy at computers, not in any productive way. I don't think Charlie knows how to use Excel very well. I think our junior year of high school, we found some Chinese app on the iPhone where you could text a number but make it appear as if it's coming from another number. So when we discovered this, we went wild. We would text our friends things like for instance, we text our friend over here and make it seem like it was coming from a girl, and we would say something like to the guy, making it appear it came from the girl, saying like, hey, do you think I'm sexy or more beautiful? And so the guy texts the number back to the real girl saying, well, I think you're sexy. Saying, wait, what? Why did that guy just send me a text saying? So, I mean, we played around with that for, I think, an entire summer. Or we just got so giddy, like two little girls. We couldn't contain it anymore. And eventually those beans were spilled. But that's just one of the many things that we got into. That is just memories that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And we've heard this skiing story a couple of times tonight. Now, I wasn't there, but from what Charlie told me, when he tore his shoulder. He was back at the house, and Libby and Chad had a bunch of their friends there with them, and Charlie is just huffing and puffing. His dreams have just kind of gone down the toilet, and he's coming in, and Libby's friends say, "Yo, Charlie, I'm so sorry. What happened?" He goes, I tore my labia. I tore my labia. But you know what? Through all that, Charlie and I would bond through things like that. But even more so, Charlie has just been an incredible example of what it means to be a loyal friend. I know he's an incredible friend, brother, son, all those things. He is the perfect example of. And I know, being a family friend, that he gets that from his mother and dad, Chad and Mimi. They are an excellent example of what it means to live in a Christ-based marriage and to raise children. And that shows itself through Caroline, Watt, and Charlie. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that. Yeah, Watt.
Except for a lot.
And anybody who can put up with Charlie, so speaking to Libby, anybody who can put up with Charlie for this many years, as long as she's known him, and still love the guy to death, that just shows that this is a match made in heaven. And I know that, having put up with Charlie this many years and still love him to death, I know that from firsthand experience. And it's not easy, but it's the most fun you'll ever have. And like I said, I've been a long-time neighbor of Libby, and Libby was always the most fun to hang out with, and it was so ever apparent that she grew up with two older brothers, because Libby can hang with the boys. When it's time for a Texas football game at 11 o'clock, and that involves waking up at the crack of dawn and cooking barbecue, and getting the beer drinking going early, or wine. That was something Libby was always right there with the rest of us. Libby, we would do these weekly dinners when we lived across the street from Libby, and Libby was always, with all of her guests, she made sure that they were taken care of before she took care of herself. She made sure that everybody's teeth were gray from red wine before grocery. She made sure everybody was full before she got a plate. We love Libby so much. James, who's also roommate with Charlie and I. There was a brief part in Charlie and Libby's relationship where they weren't getting along, and we were in the midst of moving houses. We were getting a new house, and we loved Libby so much that when James and Charlie tasked us with finding a new house, we loved Libby so much that when we were looking for new houses, we found one right across the street. We were trying to talk speaking terms at this time, and we told Charlie, "Hey, tough man, we love Libby, so we're signing the lease, dude. So you can either live with us or don't." So that's what's going to happen. But Libby, you know how to light up a room. You know how to make every single person feel special, feel taken care of. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to be friends with both of you. And I'm looking forward to a lifetime of making more of those memories together and sharing this relationship as we grow old. So thank you all.